Someone threw this drill battery away because they thought it was completely dead. But before I call it trash, I want to test one thing most people never check. But before calling it trash, there is one thing worth checking first, the part most people never look at. First, let's slide this battery into the drill and see if there is any response at all. I press the trigger, but the drill does not move at all. No sound, no power, nothing. But before we blame the battery, we need to make sure the drill itself is not the problem. So I'll take another battery that I know is still working and slide it into the same drill. Next, I'll place the battery we found into the charger. Normally, the charger should respond right away, but this one does not seem to accept any power. I tested it with a good battery and everything worked completely normally. I'll mark it so we don't get it mixed up. Now comes the first real test, checking the battery with a multimeter to see if there is any voltage left inside. Before testing the bad battery, I'll first touch the meter leads to a battery that I know is still working. As you can see, the meter responds normally, so we know the tool is reading correctly. Now I'll move over to the battery we found. I touch the leads to the terminals, but there is no output voltage at all. When I tested the good battery, the meter showed a signal. I'll place 2 clean metal washers on the battery terminals to create better contact points. Next, I'm going to use a small test bulb to check the battery terminals. If this battery still has usable power coming out, the bulb should light up when I connect it to the terminals. But as you can see, nothing happens. At this point, most people would probably throw it away. But before I call it dead, I want to open it up and see if there is still a chance to save it. I'll use a screwdriver to remove the screws from the battery case. I'll open the cover carefully because there may be small parts inside that we don't want to lose. You can see there is a lot of dust built up inside. I'll take a small brush and clean the entire battery compartment as thoroughly as possible. Next, I'll spray a very small amount of contact cleaner or WD-40 onto the tip of a cotton swab. Then I'll clean only the metal contact points, especially the areas that show signs of oxidation. I don't want to soak the circuit board. The goal is only to clean the metal surfaces where power needs to pass through. These contacts carry power every time the battery is used, so over time, dirt and corrosion can easily build up here. I'll use fine grit sandpaper with a little WD-40 to clean the contact terminals. The sandpaper helps remove the thin layer of dirt and oxidation on the metal surface, while the WD-40 helps loosen grime and protect the contacts. I'll rub gently because we only want to clean the metal, not damage it. Looking closer, I can see that some of these contact terminals are a little loose. That may not look like a big problem, but it can make a big difference. So I'll use a pair of tweezers and gently squeeze them back into shape. We don't need much force here. just enough to help the contacts grip tighter when the battery is installed. This is a small problem, but it is one many people miss. After the inside is clean, I'll also wipe down the outside of the battery case. A clean case makes it easier to see if everything lines up properly during reassembly. Now, I'll place all the parts back in their original position. Once the cover is seated correctly, I'll tighten the screws firmly so the battery is secure again. I'll place 2 clean metal washers on the battery terminals to create better contact points. They give the alligator clips a safer place to grip and help prevent slipping. Then I'll connect the clips carefully and use a small test bulb to confirm that current is flowing through the connection. Look at that! The charging light has turned on. That means the charger is finally recognizing the battery again, and the battery has started accepting power. This part must be done carefully. Match positive to positive and negative to negative. Do not cross the wires. Do not short the terminals. And stop right away. If the battery gets hot, smells strange, or starts to swell. Here, I'll use the good battery to give the drained battery a small boost. This short boost can help raise the voltage just enough for the charger to recognize the battery again. After letting it charge for a while, it's time for the real test. So this battery that someone threw away was not completely dead, after all. Sometimes the problem is just dirty contacts, weak connections, or a battery that has been drained too low. Before throwing away an expensive drill battery, it may be worth checking the contacts, the terminals, and whether the charger can recognize it after a careful inspection. If you enjoy simple garage fixes like this, hit the like button and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, would you have thrown this battery away, or would you have tested it first? In the next video, we may save something even more surprising from the trash.